All right, so we're going to go live, and today I'm here with a good friend of mine and awesome, awesome woman. She has so many talents I didn't even realize. Um, I kept seeing all her pictures of her models and stuff like that. And I'm like, how does she afford that awesome photographer? It's amazing. I was like, how's she doing that? And then I would see her designs, and I'm like, she must be co-designing. I mean, I know she's creative, but my God. So I would see her designs, I would see the photography, I would see things in the news about her. I found out that she wrote books. We share some views on domestic violence. I'm not even going to get into all the great things that Miss Sabrina Soul does because I don't want to take any time away from her spotlight. I am proud and excited to have her on this celebrating Success Month. It's just phenomenal to have her here. And without any further ado, let's greet her and say hello to Miss Sabrina Soul. Good morning.
Woo, woo. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. So we're running a little late. In fact, for our guests, we had to actually pre-record this because of Facebook not letting us on. So we will repost this, and if it pops on, it pops on. If not, we're gonna keep going. I want to talk. I like to jump right into it. That's just my style. Tell me about how you grew up, where you came from, and your beginnings, your humble beginnings. Tell me about that.
So, how I grew up is, it was really hard. And I'm going to use this platform today to speak about awareness on a lot of subjects. And one of the things that I wanted to discuss is growing up being mixed, being half Asian, being half Creole. I looked different, so I got bullied. And I got bullied really, really bad. And it was like the kind of bullying where some kids, they actually commit suicide behind it. And, I didn't want to go to school. I had people walk up to me and punch me, slap me in my face, pull my hair, would call me ching chong as I walked by and laugh at my clothes because, my parents, they were very frugal and they didn't think that having a pair of $50 tennis shoes, was important at the age of 15. But as, a 15-year-old, it was important.
Right.
Because, you wanted to be accepted, by your peers and your classmates and everyone that was around you. And, I had Payless shoes on and, and I had on Walmart clothes and, and that on top of me looking different, so I got like the double whammy. So it was really, really bad growing up. And, but I feel like that, everything happens for a reason. And I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now. And it's like throughout your journey in your life, no matter what age you are, you're placed in those positions for a reason, because if that didn't happen at the age of 15, I wouldn't be here at the age of 43 now discussing it, and being able to help the next person and the next kid and the next teenager, the child, to understand, like, it's okay, it's gonna be bad, but it's gonna mold you into this amazing person. You just don't know it now, you don't see it, but it's definitely gonna happen. So growing up, it was good. I loved life, but at times I hated what came along with it, but I didn't understand it then as I do now. So, but yeah.
That's powerful, and that's again the testament. I think, and you and I were talking a little bit before we actually got started. I think that's important to recognize that the struggle that you have in your adolescence sometimes helps with the struggle that you deal with as an adult, because the struggles don't change. I mean, they change form, but you're still going to have struggles. I remember also having to wear giant tennis shoes on the basketball court and slipping so far because they were made of plastic that when I go for a layup, I couldn't make a layup properly. So I can relate to your issue there. That's how you grew up. What part of the country did you grow up in? You did grow up in this country, right?
Yeah, I did. I came to the United States when I was about 5 years old. And that was another thing. When I came to the United States, I didn't know English at all. English was my second language, and going to school in kindergarten and first grade, that was a challenge for me as well, because everyone else spoke English and I'm like talking like a baby, like I didn't know English. And and just at the age of 5 or 6, I was kind of bullied and kind of teased, and I wanted to be accepted so bad. I remember, I'm just going to tell this quick story. I remember in the second grade, my mom used to have like a container of change that, my mom and dad would put in after work. And what I did one day is, because I was bullied so bad just in the second grade, I remember it like it was yesterday, I actually got a Ziploc bag and put money in it and went to my classmates and was like, if I give you this money, will you not be mean to me?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I remember my teacher called my mom, and and I got in a lot of trouble. And at that time, and that's why and that's why with my 6-year-old, I want to be the best mom that I can possibly be. But like I said, without those previous experiences in my childhood and in my life throughout those times, I wouldn't be able to be the person that I am today, the mother that I am today, the entrepreneur that I am today. Because when I got home, my mom ridiculed me. She yelled at me for taking this money, and I was trying to explain to her why I did it. She didn't understand why I did it. She was just mad that I took a bunch of money and I was giving it away. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful for those experiences, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Let's talk about I want to, and I'll tell you, format from my perspective, I want to end this talking about the fashion, because that's what I'm hyped about. Here it is, Sabrina Seoul Designs. I love it. I love it. And don't think I'm going to let that conversation about the trophies behind you go, because we will touch on it.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. It's right there. I want to talk about something that I saw you post, I don't know, a while back. In fact, I don't even know if I saw it when you originally posted it. But I have a passion for people who treat women wrong, bad. I hate men that act like, I don't want to say the word on the on this thing here, but female dogs that abuse women, treat women bad. And I don't care if that's a R&B singer that's escaped it for 20 years and from Chicago, that I won't say his name, or anybody. I think that men need to stand up against that mentality. And my father, I remember when I was a young man, told me, you never touch a woman and you always love and respect her. And he treated my mother like gold, so it's hard for me to relate men who do opposite. So you've talked about that in posts about domestic violence and stuff like that. Give me your thought process on that.
Well, I'm going to say this. Throughout my years and being in different relationships with different men, and of course I'm 43, so I've definitely had my share. I haven't had that
many. Which, by the way, I'm still thinking you're like 30. First time you said it, I was just gonna let it go. I'm like, what?
I love it. I embrace it. I embrace it, man. And let me tell you, it's so many things about me that I know people that personally know me that, I don't really discuss a lot of these things all the time, because in real life, for what? Like, I have other things that I need to discuss, but I don't hide these things. I don't hide, where I came from and what happened to me. Like, it's no secret. I love my story. I love me so much that I don't have a problem sharing my past, who I am, where I came from. None at all. But a lot of people have this perception, and I guess that's where social media has allowed it to happen, where people think she's hiding behind the computer, or he's not being real, or no, I'm gonna let you see what I want to post. But if you really want to know, inbox me, call me, and I'll tell you.
Right.
Okay. Oh, girl, I can't roll the I can't roll the R. So anyway.
That's all right.
But my take on domestic violence, back to that, because that's actually a very serious issue. And I think one of the problems with it's a lot of problems with domestic violence. But the main thing is that I don't think that it's enough awareness out there. And two, I don't think it's enough education about it. Yes. And, me being the age that I'm in, I've had my share, back to what I was saying, I've had my share of relationships where, at the age of 17, I was in an abusive relationship where after the guy got locked up and robbed a bank and did all this. And of course, I'm sure it was my choice of men as well. I love the bad boy. And what happened was is one day he put a gun up to my head and he was like, "Are you cheating on me?" And I've told the story many times on Facebook and I've shared the story. And I remember slapping his hand away and the gun went off and literally right in front of me. And I could have had my head blown off, that day. And I was like, wow, like, did that really, it was so surreal. Like it didn't seem like this was really happening in the moment. And then about 4 years later, he got locked up again. And then about 4 years later, when he got back out of jail, he actually went back to the lady that he was kind of cheating on me with. And ironically, she's not with us today.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I think to myself every day, like, this is real life, man. Like, that could have been me.
Yeah.
And then, man, that was, it's been over 20 years and, it was crazy. It was all over the news and everything. And that's something that I think about every day. And as time has gone on, I've gotten to, a couple of relationships with some of these men. And it wasn't just him and it wasn't just my relationship 2 relationships ago. And, it's happened a few times. Right. And then I love me. Like I said, I love me. I know my worth. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
But people have some amazing representatives out here, And let me tell you something. I'm telling you, the gift of God be walking up to me and I be like, oh. I be like, where did this man come from right here, honey? And I be getting excited, like, wow. But as time goes on, that's when you start to really learn people and they reveal their true selves. And, and as soon as I hear that, and I be like, who you? Oh, yeah.
Right. Where did that come from?
Yeah, I'm not even going to call him back or they want to, or do one of these numbers. And it wasn't in a way where I asked them to do it. It was because it was out of anger. And that's not how we do things around here.
Right, exactly.
So it became a problem. And, and once, this last situation that happened to me where he actually put his hands on me in public in the middle of daylight at 9 o'clock in the morning at a gas station. He literally came from behind me because I was trying to walk away from the situation. He came from behind me. He stole me in my face. This whole side was bruised. My nose started bleeding. My lip was black. He hit me so hard, I literally fell to the ground. My legs were all scratched up from the concrete at the gas station. My hands, because I fell, on the ground like that, all this was scratched up. And, and after that happened, I said, you know what, this has happened too many times to me, and if I can be that one little voice that can help other women and men, because it's men out here getting Absolutely. Abused by women too, and just to have one person, if I could reach one person with my stories, then, that's what I've done. And I actually came in contact with a great, amazing woman. Her name is Jen Williams, and she is the publisher for the company that I get my books published from, and that's called My Rays of Light Publishing. And, she reached out to me and they hit on, or they pretty much grasp towards people that are in situations, or not like the famous celebrity. They grasp towards people that are everyday people like us, that have been through these situations, that have these stories that need to be heard and need to be told. Right. And she gives you the opportunity to, guess what, become an author of a book.
That's great.
That is, on Amazon. That is on, I mean, you can, this is like a real book. I actually should have a book.
Shameless plug.
So this book is about, it's a bunch of different authors in this book. See No Evil. It's a bunch of different authors in this book. That's my picture right there. And I'm one of the authors in See No Evil. And it's, and it discusses my story that I kind of, just pretty much told you. But it goes into detail a little bit more in See No Evil. And it's just a collaboration of different everyday people like us, where we've come together and we've put this book together.
Now, let me ask you a question about that, because obviously that sparks a whole different thought process with me. How many authors are in that book right there?
Right here, 35.
Wow.
35. Yeah.
Wow. And I say that, and I ask that question. I mean, that's just one little book of this
Yeah.
whole big world. And
Yes.
that's 35 women who have stories about it. My wife and I were talking one day, and she was like, yeah, 2 out of every 3 women have had some kind of abuse,
Yes.
whether it be sexual, domestic violence. You know, those numbers are way too high. And again, I think the real men need to band together with women like yourself and
Yeah.
say no more. I've got 2 daughters, and thank God I let them know that, like you said, talk about the work. So every time they do get in a messed up situation, they run, they flee. But you have to have strong men who band together with women to say that, to condemn it. I was at a, a place not too long ago, and some people know that I control a nightclub in certain ways, and I banned the R&B's music, the music coming from that guy. And so customers are coming up to me like, Hoss, why can't we play R. Kelly anymore? Oops, I said his name. And I'm like, I was like, because I don't support people that do that. And so it stands. We do not play R. Kelly in that club anymore. And it's ironic because a guy, I promise you, a week ago, he's like, look, he got off charges. Can you start playing his music now? Like, no, because I know what he did and I don't care. So, and that's just my stance. But I think that if enough men took that stance and stopped letting them get, like, oh, it wasn't that serious. It wasn't. No, it's that serious. And if you have a daughter and you have a mother, you're wrong for letting it go.
Yeah. But it's, that happens more, I said I wasn't going to get into this, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I mess with you hard and I'm going to give you this interview. You know what I'm saying? But, and I'm going to keep it real. And I haven't really put this out there. I did a little because of a situation that happened about a month or so ago. And I said, you know what? I need to speak out. But you're absolutely right. Like, we all need to come together and we need to put things out there. And there's so many people that's like, oh, why you put your personal business out on social media? People don't need to know all that. No, people need to know. Yes. People need to know. I was supposed to, I was in a relationship and I was actually going to get married, last year to a man that I thought was it, honey. I was like, out of everything that I went through, to find him was worth it. Let me tell you. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because you brought that up, and that stuff like that really hits home with me, and it bothers me, and it pisses me off. Yes. And I be ready to go on folks. You know what I'm saying? But I really do try to stay in my corner, stay in my lane, and I try to stay positive. But sometimes, I be in my feelings and I make a post and I be dropping the F-bombs and MF son of a guns, and because it pisses me off. It pisses me off that it's so many people that we're around every day that's living this life that they want everyone to think that they live, and it's a fucking lie. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And, I was supposed to be married to this man, that I'm thinking was it. And come to find out, 6 months before our wedding, I had to find it on the internet because I Googled him and I asked God, I said, God, Lord Jesus, please send me a sign to let me know, because I got a 6-year-old daughter. So I got a problem when it comes to anything that's going. Okay, so I'm gonna move forward. So I said, please God, show me something. I prayed on it, man. 2 days later, something said, Google this. So I Googled him and found out that he was arrested in another state for prostitution and a child prostitution sting operation.
Oh my God.
So let me tell you something. You just never really know people. And I have been through it with that situation, this situation 3 years ago, where I thought he was like an amazing person. I can go on and on. And like you said earlier, we all have a story. You know what I mean? And I just feel like it's our time now to speak up. And I remember so many times I used to be like, dang, I remember when that happened to me. And like, I mean, I kind of feel like I want to tell my story too. And it's just to the point now where I just don't give a damn. I'm going to speak my mind and I'm going to say how I feel. This is who I am. Accept me for who I am or leave me alone. Like, just and keep it moving. Unfriend me, deactivate it. You know what I'm saying? Put me in spam. Unmute my volume. Close your computer. You know, block me. I mean, do whatever you got to do, you know, but I'm not going to stop being who I am, and I'm not going to stop using my voice.
Well, see that, gosh, that is powerful. And that's why, you know, I purposely knew when I saw that post, and I don't remember what I said after, I said under it, but I tried to say as much as I could legally, because it is a passion. Like I said, I have 2 daughters, a wife, mother, a sister. And again, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't connect to me when a man can do anything ill to somebody, and especially, which is probably another story or another conversation for another day. When you have a daughter and you say, you know what, I love my daughter, but I would let another man touch her or do this. But that goes to another story, which I think there's a problem in communities where men are disconnected from their children, so that they don't care about the daughters because they're out chasing the next thing. And that's another story. I won't start there.
Yep. Another interview.
Our thoughts on that. Now, is See No Evil the only book, or is there another book as well?
So they have so many books. You can go to myraysoflight.com. You'll see all the books that they actually have. This is my only book. And it is, ironically, I've said so much, but it's so much I haven't said because I'm actually working on a book, my own book, and, you know, we'll see.
See, that's what I knew we'll see. That's what I'm saying. I'm peeling the onion to get the layers because I know that you're so deep that there's more going on. So the book is in works then, is what you're telling me.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. That's good to hear. All right, so we talked about that. Now I get to talk about the fashion. So the question is this: how were you inspired to come up with these wonderful creations? Is it the Walmart thing from the past? You're like, I'm not wearing Walmart clothes no more.
Honey, I wear Walmart clothes now.
Me too. So all right. But I'm sure you wear Sabrina's collection though. Sabrina Soul collection is still in the closet, very heavy. So tell me, what inspired you to do the line? Tell me about that.
So this is where I can't give too much information, but I'm going to give you as much as I can.
Enough said.
So what inspired me is, and if anyone that really knows me knows that I don't bite my tongue. I keep it real 100 all the time. All you have to do is ask me, you know, but a lot of people, like you said, they just see me now as Sabrina Soul. They really don't know where I came from. And, you know, in 2001, you know, I got introduced into the entertainment field. I started modeling. I just started to hang around artists and rappers and, you know, and I was just in this business, you know, I was in the business of being in business. You know what I mean? And being in the business and in the entertainment field and starting the modeling, I started to work around exotic entertainers where they needed clothes. I started to do these pageants where I needed clothes and I needed clothes for my, you know, work too. And what happened is I didn't have the money to have this stuff and these glamorous outfits and costumes and whatever. And I said, well, shoot, I'm going to make my own stuff, but I guess I don't know how to sew. I'm like, I got to figure some stuff out, but I don't got no money. I got $20. I'm going to take that $20 and you know what? I'm going to go to the Goodwill and I'm going to buy me a sewing machine. And then I'm going to go to the fabric store and I'm going to get the cheapest, cutest, nicest material I can for $2.99 a yard on clearance on the rack in the middle right there, that stretch. And that's exactly what I did.
Well, hold on. Let me go back. So did you know how to sew? Could you use the sewing machine at that time? Was that something
I had to ask the lady at the place. I said, well, how do you put the thread in? She said, honey. She said, all you got to do is do that and do that. I said, it took me a week. I couldn't figure it out. How you make the needle go down and and then the little circle thing that go inside the thing at the bottom to make that string come up.
No way. That's
Like,
amazing.
all you gotta do is turn the wheel and hit the thing on the floor, baby. I said, oh, that thing. Man, I know what all this stuff is called now, but back then, like, I know the terminology, but I was like, that thing and the string and the needle, I had no clue. So yeah, so I'm self-taught. I'm a self-taught designer.
Well, see, that's again, that's one of the things. So about how long ago was that, would you say? You said 2001 or was it 2003?
No, it was when I first, no, I want to say 2001. It was 2001 when I first started. And that's when I got my very first customer.
All right. So, but the point I'm trying to draw is that you basically had to shift gears from something you were already doing to teach yourself to say, you know what, this is something I have to do, right? So you had to teach yourself. Okay. So now talk about how it is segued to where we are now.
Okay. So.
Talk about the trophies now.
Okay. You know, I was actually looking because I was like, she usually checks on me in about 8 to 12 minutes. And she actually just walks, she's on the side of my door. So I'm like peeking her out over there.
Oh, she's cool.
Like, Mommy, what are you doing? It's taking longer. So during that time, like I said, I entered into a lot of pageants. And, you know, and I'm going to speak a little bit, I know our time, I'm talking, but what I do now, and, you know, when I offer these services that I have now to models and to young women and the, you know, me mentoring them, you know, I try to explain to them, and I'm here talking to them on the phone and sending them emails. And I'm like, people really I don't think they really know, like in real life, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to use platforms like these to actually really show people like this is real. Like, I have been there. I have done it. I have experienced it. I wish I had a me growing up to give me all those cliff notes and those little things that I needed to know, you know, like I didn't have that. You know what I had? I had people like, oh, I don't know where you could buy that.
Right.
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember her phone number. Oh.
Right. One of your best models just joined us.
I know, and she literally just rolled. She's been in bed like this, so she's. Okay, well, don't answer the phone. Okay, don't answer. You want to say hi? That's Sedora of Sedorables.
I know, Sedora. I know you for your whole life, but you don't know who I am. How beautiful.
Say what's up.
You did so good with her, boy. I tell you what. I love to see her pictures and stuff when you put her. I started to add one to the video, the promotional video, but I didn't have your permission, so I didn't want to just throw it in there. But man, you just do so well with her. I'm so proud of you with regard to all that.
Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. I just, like you said, I want to be that person in everyone's life that I can be to who I needed it, you know, when I was growing up. So I
wish you could see the actual picture of how she's just looking away, but being close to you and stuff like that matters. And I know, really, look at that. I love that love, the love that you have there. That warms my heart because that's so important these days. So, all right. So,
okay.
I guess go ahead.
Okay. So, what happened is after I got out of the business and stopped doing the modeling, and you know, I said I'm tired. You know, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I was like, I'm just gonna, you know, I was in the DC, Maryland area for 13 years, and then I moved back home. I was like, I'm just gonna get a regular job. I'm just gonna have a regular life. I was like, I had fun, and I did it on purpose. I didn't have any kids on purpose. Everyone's life is different, but this is the life.
Right. That's how you chose it. Sure.
And, you know, and I wanted to have fun. I wanted to be out partying. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted stamps in my passport. I wanted to, you know, smoke and drink and, you know, look in the mirror. It was, like, I wanted to live that life. And I knew that I couldn't do that with a child. I knew that, you know, I couldn't do that if I was, you know, here, you know, where I am now at this place in my life, because, you know, I would have responsibilities. I would have to be an adult. And I wasn't ready to be an adult. Yes. Okay. Absolutely. 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 I love you. Okay.
And she's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I knew I was going to have responsibilities, and I didn't want responsibilities, I was like, man, I'm going to live my life. You know, this is what I'm going to do. But, you know, at the tender age of 37, you know, one day I said, man, I think I'm ready to settle down and have a kid. But I mean, I was like, I had this great career. I got into property management, real estate, and I did that for 6 years, and it was amazing to be like in the real estate field. I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about people, about business, just, you know, kind of getting back into it. And, you know, and a lot of people don't understand about me as well. I have an extensive resume. Yeah, I actually have, you know, some amazing jobs on my resume, you know, but I chose to do this. And after I got pregnant, I stopped sewing for years. And after I had Sedora, me being who I am, I was, yes, ma'am. You said I'm gone. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, okay. So you go ahead and go do what you want.
Oh, you're so bad.
Okay. I love you. Okay. I love you. Oh, okay. Okay. She got on some adorable leggings. She got on the white emoji.
There you go. There
She about to go outside and play. You be repping the brand. How can I get a high five?
She's like,
I know, and your shirt matches. I know. Okay, so go outside and play. I promise. Like, do something fun as soon as I finish. Okay.
funny how.
Okay. Okay, so after I had Sedora, it would be, you know, times where I was like, man, she needs some fly clothes, like, you know, and I shop at Target and Walmart, you know what I mean? And I don't play that, you know, she could be growing and I don't got time to be spending too much money.
Yeah.
So I said, you know, let me make her some things. So that's what I did. And I started sewing again, but it wasn't a business at this time. It was, let me just make my daughter some cute clothes. So what I did was I said, well, shoot, I want me some leggings like that too. I want some cute clothes like that. And I want to be matchy with my, you know, with my princess, matchy, mommy. So we went to the mall one day and this lady walks up to us and she's like, oh my God, y'all are like so cute together. Where did you get that from? And I'm like, I made it. She's like, oh my God, let me get your number. I want you to make me something too.
Wow.
That's how it is started, man. And I was like, well, I got to get the business cards. I got to get tags. I said, I don't want a business. I just want a regular life in my real estate job.
Down the toilet, that goes.
I was like, I'm just a single mom, just out here, just chilling. You know, we're happy. I was like, I don't want to get back into that field again. I don't want to get back into that business. But that's how it started. And I launched Sedorables, which is my girls' clothing line, in 2014. Then after that, I actually launched Sedora Milan, which is the women's line. And I wanted to just, because she's my inspiration. She is the reason behind everything that I do. If it wasn't for her, I probably would not be where I am right now.
Of course.
You know? And she pushes me to become that better person. Like, I'm trying to build this empire for her. Like, this is not, I want her to be like, wow, I remember those nights where she's, you know, I said, Mommy, you're always working. You never play with me. I'm like, who took you to the carnival last weekend? Who took you zip lining? But you know, she's 6 years old. She doesn't understand.
Of course.
Like, the fun is gone. The fun was yesterday. Now it's like, Mommy's busy. She doesn't have time for me. And that breaks my heart and it hurts me, but I know that I'm doing this for her. Now, I started my Sedora Milan line, and I wanted it to be solely around her. Sedorables is the girls' line. But when I started my fashion show, which DC Fashion Week, I actually did in February. And when yeah, it's a lot of flowers outside. It's spring. I know. Later though. I love you. Bye. Okay. So, and what happened is another designer reached out to me that, you know, asked me if I ever thought about showing in New York Fashion Week. And I was like, heck yeah, I want to show at New York Fashion Week. And he's like, okay, so which line are you going to show? I'm like, well, I have my Sedorables, I have my girls line, and then I have my Sedora Milan. And then he's like, hold up, stop, wait a minute. So when you put yourself out there as an entrepreneur, as a designer, who are you going to say? Like, you got this Facebook, you got that, you got Sedora Milan, he's like, you're all over the place. He's like, you need to figure it out. And that's where Sabrina Soul Designs came in. Okay. So Sabrina Soul Designs came in because I wanted to be recognized for my designs and who I was. And Sedorables is still my children's line by Sabrina Soul.
Okay.
But all my other designs, because I make men's clothes as well, but we're not going to get into that. That's a whole new story, you know. But I do make some men's pieces, and I just felt some type of way about putting a Sedora Milan tag in it, because that kind of represent just women, but Sabrina Soul represents a brand.
Nice.
Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. You know, that's what I do. I brand people, and I would have said the same thing to you. So that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah. And because I do photography now, I didn't want it to be Sedora Milan Clothing does Sabrina Soul Photography. I do everything. I've taught myself how to make these promotional videos.
I saw them, and they're very good, by the way.
Thank you. And I do the photography, and I do the editing. I make the clothes. I make these flyers, and I do everything. So to put Sedora Milan, no, it's Sabrina Soul. It's me. I'm doing all that stuff.
You're doing it, yes.
And then before I actually launched, or I went to DC Fashion Week, and I had to make a decision. I worked on a new website. I got some new business cards. I had to do everything in a matter of 4 weeks, and also make my clothing line. My collection, my fall winter collection that I made for DC Fashion Week, I made in 4 weeks. And to make it so bad, it's crazy, because 6 of those pieces weren't original pieces. 6 of those pieces I took out of my collection that I didn't even show at DC Fashion Week, because I decided I changed my mind. So 6 of those pieces in my 15-piece collection were made 3 days prior to the show.
Unbelievable.
In real life.
So Dora's like, Mom, you're not sleeping. What are you doing? You're working your butt off.
Like, Mom, like literally. And she was here with me, single mom, every day, cooking dinner. I still got to cook dinner. I still got to wash clothes.
Of course.
Vacuum.
And that's what this interview is all about, because it's about people like you who are sacrificing sleep sometimes. Yes. You had to sacrifice sleep to get those 3 pieces done. I know that much. I don't sew, but I know that much. And that's what life is about, the sacrifice. And what the Celebrating Success Month is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about talking to people like yourself about the sacrifices, the backgrounds, and all the stuff that comes together to make you successful, which in my mind, you are one of the most successful people I know. And I know this is just the edge of it, and we have a lot more to come of it. The last question I have to ask you, is we do need to start wrapping it up, is what would you say to that young single mother, or even a young girl that has aspirations to do what you've done, or something even different, but to make a sacrifice? What would you say to that young girl?
Man, it's what I say to a lot of women that I talk to almost every day. It's a lot of things that I do that people don't see, And that's one of the things that I think I need to bring awareness to, is you never know who and what you can learn from. That guy at the grocery store, he may look, like he's not a professional, but you know what? Stop and talk to him. Amen. You never know what you can learn from him. And I learn things from people that I would have never, and I talk to everybody. When I go out in public, I'm like, hey, how you doing today? Have a blessed day. Yeah, I like them shoes, girl. You know what I'm saying? And you just have to start conversation. Think about how many people are out here in this world. Think about how much knowledge. I'm just me here on an interview with you, and I think I've dropped a couple of gems. You know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? And I just feel like you just never know. You have to stop and take the time to learn from other people, but you have to stop and take the time to learn yourself in the process. You have to trust the process. Everything happens for a reason. All those videos I made 10 years ago and I put on YouTube, going to these clubs, selling my outfits and my clothes to these girls, I put on YouTube. I had 30, 50, 70,000 views on these.
Wow.
But you know what? Success, I was taking myself to the next level. And I had a lot of haters. I had a lot of jealousy. I had a lot of envy. And I didn't know how to handle that because no one explained to me, people are going to hate you. People are going to
Yes.
be jealous of you. I didn't know that. I didn't understand that. So it scared me. I had people attacking me on Twitter. This was when Twitter first came out. I had people attacking me on Twitter, other models. I would go to these photo shoots and dance my little dance. And they'd be like, look at her. She's dancing. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. The
Look at
hate.
all
The hate.
these women now on Instagram. And look, I could be a millionaire right now, but I got scared. Don't ever get scared. Follow your gut. Follow your passion. Follow your heart. Don't let nobody stop you. If you feel like, God, I don't think that's right. You know what? If it don't, do it. Do it. It's so many things that I wish that I would have followed through with. Sadora, I'm talking. That I would have followed through with, that I could be at a different place right now. And that's why I don't let anyone stop me. I don't let anyone tell me, oh, you shouldn't do it that way. That's not how we do things. That's not how things are done. If you're trying to be an entrepreneur, if you're trying to be a business person, if you're trying to be successful in what you do, you have to follow your heart. My journey is not your journey. Okay. You can't do what I'm doing. I can't do what you're doing, but you need to stop and listen. You need to learn. You need to invest in your business. You need to invest in your dreams. It's not going to come to you. You got to get your butt up. You got to go out there. You got to network. You got to go get some business cards made. Go to Weebly and get a free website. Stop playing. You got to go into these people's inboxes. You have to put yourself out there. It's not going to happen overnight. I promise you, this is a work in the making. It's not going to happen overnight. But you have to trust the process. All those videos, everything that I did, everything that I made, learning to teach myself how to do flyers 7 years ago. I wouldn't be able to do the things now, the photography, because I didn't have the money to get a photographer. I had to go and invest in a camera. I had to learn how to edit those photos. Everything is self-taught. You got to take the initiative and you got to ask yourself, how bad do you want it, man? Man, all those things that I went through. All those things that I went through at a young age, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, in the business, out the business, I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't have those experiences. You got to trust the process. And you got to believe in yourself before anybody believes in you, man. You got to believe in yourself. You got to be your biggest fan.
Woo!
It's so much more, but I know I could keep going and going.
Oh my God. I mean, look. That's what I'm talking about right there. You know, all this has been great, but that little at the end is what I need people to see, because you summed it up, and I'm not even going to try to sum it up for you. You said everything. Young ladies, listen to this woman. Listen to her. You're not going to look. She should have a seminar and be charging $1,000 just for what she said. But
I have my model branding services. We're going to start with that.
You lucked up on it today. And I know this is not live. This is pre-recorded. So when you see this, she'll be probably sewing somewhere. But the cool thing is that information is so key. Every successful person I've ever come in contact with has said you got to do what she just said. So listen to her. All right. You know, I ain't no real sharp guy, but I know that's why I hang around people like Sabrina, because that hones me up and that sharpens me up. That makes me say, when I'm around negative people and they're sitting around talking about stuff that I don't care, that there are people like Sabrina out there in this world making things happen because they're doing what it takes to make it happen. Self-taught. Do you understand how hard that is? Do you understand how many YouTubes she probably had to watch? How many people she had to ask? That's not easy stuff. Self-taught. So thank you so much for this awesome interview. This has just been so phenomenal. It's what I wanted and more. Yeah, I could never ever thank you for coming on Celebrating Success Month show.
I've always been a big fan of yours. You know, I think you are an amazing man, an amazing business person, an amazing husband, an amazing father. Like you said, I've known you for years and I've watched you and I've always respected you. Always.
Likewise. And I think that's why we're sitting here today, because I have so much mutual respect for you and so much love. And, I can't wait till I see you on the runways of Paris and all that. And I'm be pointing to when my kids are like, I know her. She was on my show a long time ago. Because that is the future. There's nothing that's going to stop you. I see it. I believe in you. And anything we can do as a company or as I can do as a friend, I got you. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Follow me on Instagram, Sabrina Seoul Designs. Seoul as in Seoul, Korea. Not I got soul, but I am a soul sister.
Definitely.
Sabrina Seoul Designs on Instagram, Sabrina Seoul Designs on Facebook, and also Sabrina Seoul Photography on my Instagram page. You can go to my website, Sabrina Seoul, that's SabrinaSeoul.com.
There you go. Now, hold on. I want to clear up the Instagram thing because I thought it was Miss Sabrina Soul. It's not? Or is that a different one?
Miss Sabrina Seoul is actually my personal page. That's why
okay.
I put like videos of me and Fedora and, but to be honest with you, a lot of people are like, why do you have a lot of pages? And I'm like, because like I have my personal page, but a lot of like in real life, I actually network and speak with a lot of people outside of my circle on Miss Sabrina Seoul and my or Sabrina Ella page. Like I have professionals that actually come to my page and I need a page where they can come to, where they can see my photography, where they can see my designs. They don't need to see me and Fedora ziplining. You know what I mean?
Right. I get it.
So,
I get
yeah.
it.
So those are my personal pages where I, want to do other things.
Okay. So I end up following the wrong page, but I will correct all that.
It's okay.
And again, you will always have you will always have my support, and we will always love you. Thank you again so much for this awesome interview, and we'll talk very soon.
Yes, we will.
All right. Goodbye, baby.